Welcome to my channel. This is a reading for Aries, March 2020. Sorry for the delay on this, Aries. Just got caught up with some of the other readings, and it's just been a really busy time. So anyway, because I'm getting to you last, I have laid out some additional cards here to try to make up for it. These are basically just some advice cards here, and then the overall energy cards I've got down at the bottom, the 10 of Raphael and the Page of Raphael. I also have a new deck that I've put out here. It's called the Sacred Awakening deck, and this is sort of far off in the corner here. It might be a little more difficult to see, but there's actually 4 cards pulled. It's Divine Wisdom, Sabotage, Oneness, and Aspects are the cards. And then just toward the very start of the reading here, although some of it might still be a little out of range for visual, but this is where we'll be starting for the general reading on career and finance for March 2020 for Aries, and then these are all the clarifiers here. So the clarifiers, I've actually used a different deck. I've actually got quite a few decks here, so I'll just get things organized again here, and just let you know that the readings will be done with the Goddess Guidance Oracle cards. That's a Doreen Virtue card, so that would be her cards here. We also have the Angel Therapy cards, which are also Doreen Virtue. I have the Archangel Power deck, which again is Doreen Virtue, and that one is Radley Valentine as well. And I'm also using the Sacred Awakening deck, and this one is actually it's more of a higher consciousness deck. So that is the Oracle cards there. And I will also be using my usual fortune card deck, and that is the 2 cards here in the corner, Angel and Moon. And then I also have the Witch's Tarot Companion, which is where I've done all the clarifiers here at the bottom. That's to clarify the main parts of the reading. So just to get started, I'll start with the I'm going to start with, I think, the 10 of Raphael and the Page of Raphael. Those are just overall general reading energies for the month of March, so not specific to career and finance. And I do always read a little bit of the love interest in this reading, or in these readings, just because I find that a lot of relationships do always overshadow and impact our finances. So again, it just touches on that. It doesn't go into a lot of depth or anything on that level, but it does give you some guidelines as to how it's influencing your money matters. So starting off with the 10 of Raphael, and again, this is just general energy reading, so that would be the 10 of Raphael and the Page of Raphael. So the 10 of Raphael speaks to love and blessings that are coming in, filling your life. So it's about having a loving, happy family, and even though you're still working hard, you are in the month of March feeling a sense of peace and satisfaction. You know, things are basically peaceful and harmonious on that front. You know, and then I do actually see, though, just in a general way here, there is some upheaval that relates to relationships for you. Not necessarily on the home front as far as, you know, close family. You know, in that respect, I think this is more of a personal relationship that is maybe upsetting a little bit of the balance. But basically, relationships, you know, this card speaks to relationships, can be a lot of work, but they're worth it. You know, your hopes and dreams are often, you know, within reach with this card, and it does talk about you being on the right path. So there is a beautiful home life that you're seeking, you know, happy romantic partnerships, that kind of thing, where you feel, you know, that there's trust built, and there's that happily ever after with that card. So again, that's what you're looking for overall for the month of March. That March 2020. That's what your general energy is. That's overshadowing or influencing this career and finance read. You also have the Page of Raphael. So that one is just in terms of the situation. It's about feelings that can be enlightening. So it's about you getting in touch with the divine and staying in touch with that part of your own psychic gifts that you have that help you, because love tends to help us raise that vibration and move into a level of higher awareness. So it does speak to that for the month of March, that you are getting some guidance. You know, I mean, there's a few cards in here that reflect that. So again, you know, heightened intuitive energy with the Page of Raphael here. And again, that's general energy for the month of March. And it's just about someone who's come into your life that stirs up your romantic or your emotional aspects. And it's about communication being really important at this time. So it also speaks to a younger person as well that's sweet and gentle and very open to expressing their feelings in some way. Doesn't have to be verbally, but certainly can be just a really loving person. It does refer to someone who is, possibly shy, dreamy, sensitive, that kind of thing, a creative person, somebody who might be very naive around you, and that it could even be somebody who's coming into your life as a special new friend. But it's something about somehow there's some kind of either a social invitation or something here where you're meeting this person, or this is somebody already in your sphere. But anyway, again, I just feel that a lot of the reading for today revolves around relationship status versus, the financial aspects being the prevalent part of the reading. So anyway, back to, we will go next to the fortune cards over here. So these are, again, just general energy cards for the month of March, and then we'll get to the more specific areas for career and finance. So general energy reading is about angels. So angels are guiding and protecting you, that you're on this spiritual journey, that you're being blessed, either through dreams or, you're being intuitively led as far as feeling gut feelings, that kind of thing coming to you. But that's inklings to guide you, and all you need to do is ask the angels for help in whatever area of your life that you need to find some strength in. So if you're looking to, bring a new relationship into your life, you want to actually visualize this person and, visualize them embracing you and things that you might do together, activities, whatever, just to make that happen. Don't fall prey to being too far into the dream state, though, because again, this is just moments of meditating on a particular outcome of what you're actually want your outcome to be, versus using it as an escape. So, and then just in terms of finances, that would reflect the same as well. It's just that the angels can be there to assist you with your money matters and career goals and helping you to find a direction. So whenever you get that inkling to, start something artistic, or you've got your creative spark activating, something you've seen has prompted you to want to write or draw or whatever it is, that's a bit of a spiritual awakening to get you off the fence, to let you know that these are pictures that are being brought to you from your angels to be able to move forward. You then have the moon card, and the moon card is also about the subconscious. So it's about things, about paying attention to your intuition again, and just to move ahead confidently. So it really is a time for March that you really need to be doing some introspective, thought-provoking, clarity, trying to figure out with a little more specific, anyway, to be more specific with what it is, a little more focus with your goals there. And so again, with the moon, it's about your intuition being very strong at this moment, and to rely on, again, those feelings and your gut feelings and your dreams, and any other synchronicities or repeating patterns or symbols that keep coming to you, because problems will be resolved much faster when you are using your intuition. So, spending a little bit of time alone and helping to nourish your soul, looking at, how you want to clarify, what does a relationship mean to you? What does it look like? How should it manifest in your world? What seems to be missing? How do you feed your own soul? So if you're not getting something from that relationship, and able to move forward a little more confidently, you might need to figure out some other ways to feed yourself, feed your soul and your spirit, to be able to clear some blockages, is what I'm going to say. So again, in terms of career and money, the moon card is really letting you know that you've got some fresh new ideas and creativity that are coming to you. So it's a time to use that. Whenever you're given a little bit of a spark, the divine is giving you that chance, that opportunity to change something in your life. So the longer that you negate those opportunities, things become more of a hardship down the road. So the obstacles will always be there, depending on, regardless of the path that you choose, but it's how hard do you want that road to be? If you follow your intuition, the path is less heavy and less cumbersome. So this card also, with the moon, in terms of career and money, says that there could be some kind of a confrontation. So just be aware of all the facts and try to avoid those heated discussions. Try to remain rational and tread lightly. Just be very careful about what you speak of to people. Just because gossip and that kind of thing also revolves around, and jealousy also revolves around the moon. So as those negative doors close, you want to be able to change your life and move forward, and just basically make sure that you've got clarity on where you want the direction of your career and your finances to go, because it is a good time for you to make that jump. Okay, so the next cards to read will be, I think we'll start with Bridget. Actually, that's an advice card, the card of Bridget, as well as the Heal Away Addictions card. So I'll read it anyway, because I think that's just something to keep in mind going forward for the rest of the reading. Actually, no, maybe I'll read that toward the end, just because I think it might, give you, it won't make any sense if I don't give you enough information initially to be able to see where to head with that. So let's go down to the Sacred Awakening cards. So again, that is, there's 4 cards here. Again, I know they're not all really visual here, but anyway, there's one of them. That's the Aspects card that I'll start with. And then we've got the Oneness card, which is this one here. And then we've got the Sabotage card. And then there's the Divine Wisdom card. So just to start out with Aspects. So again, this is really the sort of the recesses of your mind, the things that you are allowing to burden yourself with. So Aspects speaks to, your feelings of being denied, unloved, or things that you have feared, that there's mistrust, you feel like there's some kind of shame or possible guilt. This, again, could be related to relationships or feeling that you're less than somehow. And just on a side note, when you allow those aspects, they become demons. And I only mean that metaphorically, not truly as demons, but it just lets you know that you've got a lot of negative thinking that is growing. And when it grows so strong, it helps it, to create a chasm between, the parts of yourself. So things become more fragmented, and it's difficult to integrate those dark aspects of yourself. So that's probably why the Moon card and so much of the influence of the intuitiveness is being magnified in this reading, because you are doing a lot of self-sabotage, which again was another one of the cards down here as well. And you're doing some negative thinking in terms of, I would say it's relationship oriented. But I mean, it could relate to business relationships and all of that too. But I get the feeling this really relates more to a personal relationship. So again, it's just helping yourself to feel. The Aspects cards is letting you know that you can free yourself from all of those negative, areas of conflict and heavy dark energy, just by accepting them instead of projecting them out into the world. So what I mean by accepting them is letting them, as they say, there's, that mindfulness technique where you're just letting the feelings and the emotions flow through you, even as in with anxiety, so yes, you're aware that it's there. Yes, it's going to take up a few minutes of your thought. Don't feed into it. Just allow it to be present, and then realize that this is just a moment and that it passes. So it's about claiming those darker energies, or those aspects of yourself that you are tending to reject, and fearlessly just love them, claim them fully, and just allow yourself to, release those parts from your thinking on a day-to-day basis. Because as I say, the more power that you give it, the more of a chasm that it creates between you feeling one, which again is the next card that follows that, which was the Oneness card. And that was about opening up your heart and listening to, your inner core and the intuitive parts of yourself. You no longer have to look for what is, what is God to you, what is spirit to you, because when you feel it within yourself and you're in touch with it, you see it in every living thing. So it speaks to the parts of yourself in nature, looking outside and appreciating, appreciating a cold day, or appreciating, just the energy of the sun and some of the smaller things. But that is you being one with nature, with God, with spirit, whatever it is to you. And again, it's letting yourself be fed by that, that grand level of the grandness of our world. You know what I mean? I guess I'm just trying to I can't find the words for it, but it's about you finding that that oneness, and you're raising your vibration. You're able to connect with things that, instead of dividing yourself up into different parts and sections and denying, that they are represented. Pain is there for a reason. It helps you to draw attention to areas that you need to change. So it's not something you want to refuse or block. It's something that you want to embrace and break it down so it doesn't have as much of an impact. And again, this is just a time of, when you're finding oneness, it's about finding that fluidity in nature, and just not resisting things in life, just looking at everything as a tapestry that's unfolding and being woven together. So it's not any one piece, you're actually creating it, you're adding to it. So back down to, again, this is the Sacred Awakening deck, and we're on to the Sabotage card here. So the Sabotage card speaks of, the things that you learn to do repeatedly. Sabotaging ourselves is just learned patterns of, feeling unworthy and not successful, that we don't have any fulfillment, that we're not being loved enough or in the ways that we want to be loved, and that you get caught in those tendencies of struggle and chaos, and they're seducing because we've already been down that pattern, that trap, and so it's easier to add to it and add to it and add to it. So it's letting you know that don't compete with your old thoughts and just continue to add to them. With the Sabotage card, you want to take ownership of it and say, well, I want to change it. Identify that I'm not happy in this area, so I need to change things on some small scale, but allowing yourself to accept some part of it as well. Not just rejecting everything, because that's not accepting it. Rejecting everything is fine to have boundaries, but to reject everything and make sudden changes, can be scarring in itself as well. So I think finding a way to embrace those changes and incrementally allow yourself to move into a place of independence or more positive thought or whatever it is for you. So again, just bringing your unconscious patterns, which again, the moon is also speaking to that same thing. It's about bringing the unconscious patterns to your awareness. And so you're taking full responsibility, and you realize how you've held yourself back. And so you're just allowing that flow of really living into your life. And again, back to divine wisdom. So the divine wisdom, again, is the same idea, as to all of the angel cards and the moon cards, and all of the things are, culminating around following your intuitive self. So the divine wisdom card, again, speaks to you have accessed, what they consider a trinity of wisdom. So, it's mind, body, spirit, that kind of thing. You're connecting your personal self-awareness and your awareness with the divine. So at this time, as they say in March, you are relying more heavily on it, and you are expected to, so that you are able to be more present. And so in being more present, you're more activated, you're more open, you're more accepting, you have an expanded awareness, you're aware of that shadow self, or those negative patterns and that kind of thing in your day-to-day. But you're also saying to yourself, I don't reject it, I'm alchemizing it. So in other words, you're using symbolically the flame of transmutation is how they phrase it. And you're finding that deeper pool of wisdom to draw upon. So, the Trinity is layers. And so by awakening each layer, you get more information revealed to you into how to intuitively deal with whatever the issue is. So again, it's just you allowing yourself things to flow through you versus rejecting, repelling. Again, it's okay to set boundaries and to make those incremental changes, but it also speaks to, being more aware of the parts of yourself that need some attendance. So now I will read no, I won't read those yet. I'm actually going to start with right into the reading for the career and finance. So career and finance, and again, this is for Virgo 2020 March. Starting off, the first card here, I'll just try to show you a little bit there. The first card here is the Three of Swords. And the Three of Swords, again, is one of those cards that speaks to conflict and problems and difficulty. So clearly there was some of that going on for you for the start of March. I mean, it does look like you're kind of working through it all throughout March, but overall there's lots of really good cards in there. So anyway, starting out with the Three of Swords, you know, again, that speaks to, could be jealousy. It could be feeling that others, you know, were out to hurt you. It could be that you were cheated on. It could be that there was some kind of a divorce or depression. There's some kind of, you know, something that just makes you feel as though you've gone through some kind of painful truth that you've discovered, and that there's hurt inside. So you're trying to get to the heart of the matter is what's happening here with the Three of Swords. That's where you're starting out. You're trying to seek balance. You're trying to, you know, do some self-examination, and, you know, whether there was a painful separation or angry words or something sacrificed or some kind of an ending, you know, there was some pent-up emotions here that weren't necessarily expressed in the way that they could have been. You know, it doesn't mean that there was an end of a relationship or anything along that line, but certainly that there was some issues. And again, hurtful words could be just feeling a little more crushed in some way. But again, it's just a feeling of being let down overall and some anger. So moving down to the clarifier card, which is the Ten of Pentacles. The Ten of Pentacles is generally a card, you know, indicating happiness and, you know, fulfillment, the good life, you know, being financially secure, all of those things. So, I mean, again, I did feel that this was more of a relationship read, even though it does impact your finances. There are definitely some financial cards here as well. But the Three of Swords, clarified by the Ten of Pentacles, to me speaks of the conflict has somehow impacted your happiness or your level of happiness. So, you know, with the Ten of Pentacles, again, normally that would be, you know, speaking to great success and happiness coming your way and all of those things. But what I'm getting from it is, because it is, you know, a happy couple that's looking at each other, you know, it's about, it also speaks to psychic gifts and things being passed down in a family, you know, and then there's the dog in there as well, which is that classic symbol of loyalty and companionship. So it's about, you know, the relationship garden is just being challenged in some way. So, I mean, there might be some aspect of, you know, it financially impacting you as well. But again, I mean, it does speak to happy family and you know, emotional bonds between people. So this is really, the clarifier to me speaks of an issue around that commitment and something around that is causing, how do I say, is causing some kind of restriction around the family unit or relationships. I think overall you're fairly happy with your main foundation, but I think that there is something that relates to the stability of you know, what makes it whole for you, whatever makes it whole for you. Because, and the reason why I say that is it's also followed by the Nine of Swords, and that's also, again, you being up in your head, and, you know, followed with the Two of Pentacles, you know, you trying to find balance. There's some issues around that, and of course the following card with Lover and Karma, all of that, and the Hierophant, you know, things being sort of secret and, you know, behind the scenes, that kind of thing. The Hierophant also speaks to, you know, things around intuition as well. So lots of you trying to find the balance. So again, I think the heartbreak was in around something that relates to your happiness or your idea of happiness with family and loyalty and commitment. And then it goes into the Two of Pentacles, which 2s and 4s and 6s, 8s, that kind of thing, they're all really about, or sorry, 2, 4s, 8s, that kind of thing, really about finding balance and peace and harmony. But with the Two of Pentacles, again, it's you juggling things. So, you know, you are either juggling too many responsibilities, you know, but either way, you're trying to find balance here. And because it's so close to, you know, the conflict card and all of that, I feel that you are some kind of a multitasker here, but that you're finding some kind of imbalance between work life, personal life. So, It's just basically telling you to go with the flow, though. But when you get the Two of Pentacles here, but somehow, again, it's impacting your stability, because with the Nine of Swords, this is really about you being up in your head and, feeling restrictions, and, you're overwhelmed. There's a lot of anxiety coming through here with that card. And things, just as a side note, things are usually darkest before the dawn, so to speak. It's a time of, nagging thoughts, and you being told to, push out of this space and try to refocus. You're just too wrapped up in your own problems. So you need to be able to find a way to break free. And again, thinking about putting yourself through a period of intuitive reflection, and trying to find some resolve just by slowing down your thoughts, especially when you're feeling filled with anxiety, because this card really is kind of a drama queen card or drama king card. So it really is somebody who is, having a crisis, or thinks that, all is lost and it's all over, whatever the relationship was, and it's just being a little fatalistic. So again, it's just you playing the victim, or somebody around you playing the victim. But again, I still feel this speaks to you, just feeling a little bit sorry for yourself. But again, you don't need to, because there's so many positive cards coming here. With the Hierophant, as I mentioned, the Hierophant is really a card that lets you know that, High Priestess, that's the highest ranking card in the deck. It is a card of having secret knowledge. So, when you go in and you reflect, and you are intuitively allowing yourself to be guided, you're helping to get past these issues, so they're no longer in your way. They're no longer blockages to what's clarifying is the Lovers. So, and this is actually a Virgo energy. So this Virgo energy is really you coming through in your own reading, but it's also about developing talents. It's about somebody who's, maybe a little perfectionistic as far as a person, very efficient, analytical, that kind of thing. Somebody who's kind of all-seeing and has, a certain amount of mystery around them. And just, again, it's about trusting your instincts, and it's somebody who's really a helper, somebody who is, just getting a feeling that this is also about, because this card also represents a sense of balance, I do feel it's a balance of knowledge and wisdom. So, the knowledge of a situation, rational mind and so on, versus the wisdom of the intuitive. So trying to find that balance in there, but it is, about hidden feelings, and again, still staying focused on healing. So again, with the Lovers card, this is also speaking to, this is a clarifier, but it is about big change coming in terms of partnership. And it could be you just changing your mindset entirely about how you're going to deal with this particular area of your life. So, I mean, it could be speaking to, I do believe it is about a choice to be made, because you also have the two over here, and there's plenty of twos in the reading that indicate you're trying to seek balance. But twos are also about finding, coming to a choice that needs to be made. So again, if whatever the choice is that needs to be made, with the Lovers card here, I do feel that it is something that is still positive. Could even speak to love triangles. I'll just throw that out there. But again, it's about some kind of life decision here that you need to find a way to accept or move on from. So again, it's about seeking wholeness with the Lovers card, and that's clarifying, you, which is the Virgo energy here. So, and again, it is a change that's coming. So whether it's just a mental change or, some kind of actual change, then I would say that, just allow yourself the time to kind of restructure it in your mind, and don't feel that you have to, block things. Allow things to integrate into yourself, so that it's more of a complete you, instead of saying, I don't accept this, I don't accept this. Look at the parts that you can accept, and look at the parts you can't accept, and then find a way to mediate. So anyway, it is about happiness and harmony and that kind of thing with the Lovers card as well. But if it, in terms of finances, it would speak to attracting good fortune or opportunities coming your way. And certainly with, this card here as well with the High Priestess, I mean, it could also be that there is some sense of, you being led to that happy choice. So moving on to the Page of Swords, the pages are always about, news coming in, or a message rather coming through. So the swords generally speaks to the mindset, something that's coming through that can be a little speedy. So again, Page of Swords is really about that spirit of learning. Could also represent a challenging lover, and because it's surrounded by so many cards in around that area, I suspect that is really what's coming through there, is that there is a challenging lover. It does also speak to standing up for yourself, and again, being ready for action and all of that. But I think it is about you creating some boundaries. If you don't want to hear somebody talking about a particular issue that you're unable to deal with or manage at this time, then it isn't necessarily wrong for you to say, could we discuss this at a later time, or, I prefer not to get too far down that track, or, I'd like to focus on other things that might be, a little more positive, whatever. I mean, everybody's got their own way of phrasing it, but either way, again, it does can speak to spying, people spying on each other on the internet or otherwise. It can speak to also in terms of business or finance, having bright ideas and again, still standing up for yourself, new sense of learning. But again, with love, it can indicate conflict or petty arguments in around that area. But it's also a card telling you to be patient with your progress. It's a card where you can ask. You say, I ask the universe for this. I need to ask whatever, and whatever angel it is that you feel is someone that you need to reference, if it's money or if it's love, that kind of thing. But it is feeling like there's some kind of petty gossip going on with that card as well. But just don't get drawn into the arguments. And again, that was stated in other cards here as well. Don't get drawn into our arguments and quick judgment and those kinds of things, because the way that you deal with a challenge, also sets you up for, it's the foundation that needs to be strong. And if your foundation is repeatedly reinforcing negative self-talk, you will constantly be spending days, hours, months trying to get over whatever issue it is. So just don't neglect your spiritual side. Definitely take advantage of spirit coming through to guide you to action, and just feel a little more free and young at heart. Don't feel that, don't let it weigh heavy on you, is what I'm trying to get at here. So again, with the clarifier on that Page of Swords, we are looking at the Karma card. So the Karma card is really a card that is letting you know that it's relationship oriented here. And I should just quickly mention too, even with that Lover's card, that also represents Gemini. It doesn't necessarily have to be a Gemini that's coming through there, but it is about decisions and commitment and choices that need to be made. So something that's going to affect your future on that. I just wanted to throw that in there. But as I say, the Karma card is really one that's about changing your future as well. So it's about cycles about to change here with this one. So, things happen for a reason, is my feeling, and you don't have to agree or disagree on that. It's just something out there, but it's about growing with those changes, right? So the spiritual forces are at work, and as they're shaping you in your destiny of sorts, and again, you can always change your destiny. The path that you choose to take to learn your lesson is entirely your choice. But making a positive change for the future is what's happening here with the Karma card. So it's about renewal, deeper spiritual renewal, and that karmic destiny. And you are reflecting on past events here, and where things have taken you given those past events. So moving on to the Knight of Wands. The Knight of Wands here is anything that's dealing with wands is a fiery energy. It's a fast-moving, paced energy. Anything that's a knight represents messages as well coming through, more about news and direction as well. So again, with the Knight of Wands, if we were referring to a person here in this reading, and it could very well be a person that's coming through with the Knight of Wands, and not necessarily just that it's news or message coming through. Although I will also let you know that because you have the Knight followed with the Page, I do feel that there is still a message there that's coming through. But with the Knight of Wands, I mean, as a person, it represents, somebody who is very, very vivacious or energetic and filled with action and lots of energy, someone who loves to be loved, somebody who's, fairly self-assured. hates to be possessed, likes to take off on new projects or new adventures, and doesn't necessarily have a end goal in mind, but likes the journey. So it's really somebody who could be quite seductive. This can be somebody who's really charismatic. There can also indicate a strong physical attraction with this person. But it also speaks to, in a more general way, doing something creative. And definitely the finances are getting better, but it also speaks to being passionate about this, whatever it is for you. So again, it speaks to motion, with the knights, motion and change, and you're advancing towards something. So again, with that page of wands, and again, you've got double wands there, so it's even faster energy because fire is a faster energy. That there is something that's changing there that is either a new idea or, somebody who just, as I said, is just a little more lively. But I want to clarify that I did pull a card here, which is the Five of Swords. So with that free-spirited energy, I do feel that with the Five of Swords, that this is, a little bit more along the idea of conflict. So, again, with the Five of Swords, it's really just about, you could even be embarrassed about something or feeling humiliated with this person. You feel like you don't have any power, or that there was some kind of trickery that was going on here, or there's, but either way, you're being told not to give up. Anyway, with that card, with the Five of Swords, you're being told not to give up. Just look for more possibilities and keep transforming yourself. Even though you are feeling some kind of defeat on some level, you need to shift your thinking a little bit. Learn to laugh at yourself and just keep moving forward. How you feel in the moment doesn't mean 2 weeks from now that's how you feel. This person could do something really amazing, and that'll change your entire perception again. So again, still have some boundaries and speak up for yourself, but don't allow yourself to be clouded by, too much of the negative thinking that you tend to be doing here in the reading, because again, you've got like the Heal Away Addictions card, you've got even when we talked about the aspect and the self-sabotage card, you are doing a lot of negative thinking, which is sometimes when you go to have a discussion with somebody after you've spent 4 days brooding, the conflict becomes much more heated than it needs to be. So you want to make sure that you put things down, before you have the conversation, even putting things down, on paper, and just keeping to 4 points so that you don't overindulge and overly, over communicate what it is you're trying to say in such a way that the person can't even resolve because it's, too many issues. There's 15 issues for a half-hour conversation, which doesn't really allow anybody to go forward. So again, the next card after that is the Page of Wands. The Page of Wands, again, is a card of message coming through here as well. So this is about chances for new love, or even just changing your mindset about love, after a time of difficulty, with the Tower moment, which is clarifying. So again, this is about making plans to launch new ideas. It's a messenger about you going in a new direction, which again is what the Knight of Wands speaks to, moving in that new direction. And again, it's just about, communication is what this card is letting you know, that you need to be opening up and talking a little bit more, but also being a little more free-spirited. Try not to be so serious and so heavy about how things have to be, but, have some boundaries and what you can accept at this time, and maybe say down the road, when you can discuss these other things, you can approach those. But for now, you just need limited knowledge about what's going on, and just try to deal with small things, little baby steps at a time. So, this card is really about someone who says, I create. So when you have new opportunities and creativity and a need for expression with this card here, and a need to communicate, you need to focus on what it is that you want to communicate. And again, it's just about, in terms of love, you could be surrounded by some dark energy there, especially too because it is confirmed with the Tower as a clarifier. So there might have been some kind of aggression behind your love, or resentment, I guess is maybe the word, about this person. I feel there's some level of resentment coming through with that Knight of Wands. So again, moving past that, so we are looking at the next card being the Two of Wands. And again, all twos are speaking to you finding balance. So the Two of Wands, again, is about finding peace and harmony and that balance, and you are finding it because you have several twos here. But with the Two of Wands in itself, it's about achievement. So you did sort of find a way to, deal with that duality, and you're finding a way to combine the strength between this person, and you are, in terms of money and finance, it'd be about making your mark on the world and being able to show that you mean business and that you're able to, you're kind of at a halfway point, with your personal goals with that card. So it's really about successful partnerships and that kind of thing coming through here, whether in business or otherwise. It could speak to travel, but I don't really see any other surrounding cards that indicate travel. There's no Eight of Wands, there's no World card, nothing like that. So, and there's other cards, but that's not really what I'm picking up here. So I feel that in terms of love, you have the skills to make those things happen. Even in terms of a career, you have the skills to make those things happen. You may have some anxiety around all of those goals, and in terms of the partnership, that you feel that you need to be able to move forward with your goals. And it does indicate that there is some power struggles here with this card. And again, you also have another clarifier there as well. And that one is I think that was the Five of Wands. Sorry, yeah, that's the Five of Wands as well. And that's a clarifier for the Two of Wands. So again, like with that too, again, you're finding the balance. You just have to wait for the results. So you are in touch with the divine there with that card. So all is moving in the right direction. So again, back to, the Tower. I just want to clarify that Tower back there as well. It's just about you finding, changing your plans here as well. And that even though there was some kind of a change, you are removing those blockages from your path, and that's why you moved on to the Two of Wands. And then here again with the Five of Swords, you are actually at a point where you are able to, cut through, the Five of Wands. With the Five of Wands, you are able to deal with petty arguments and annoyances and things that, those challenges with the relationship. You're putting on your game face and you're finding that you're able to problem solve well. There's not really an issue there, other than just to draw attention to the fact that you have something to deal with in terms of conflict or disagreements. But just put some effort into your problem solving. That's all I'm saying. Two of Swords is about you having a decision to make. You are finding a way through it. I can't see your last card there. I think that's the Three of Pentacles. So the Three of Pentacles is actually a really good card. I mean, anything revolving around, it's about creativity and expression and finding, achievement, that kind of thing as well. But threes period are about self-expression as well. So just keep that in mind. It's a period of expanding. You've made a decision, and now you've gone into, it's about expanding with that decision. So you're building something, is what's happening there. And again, that's just the clarifier, is the Three of Pentacles. And again, this is around a Queen of Pentacles. So a Queen of Pentacles is an influence. It's an energy, could be yourself or another person, somebody who's influencing the reading. But this is, I guess it's out of view. I'll just give you a little glance. Queen of Pentacles. So the Queen of Pentacles is also close to the Strength card here. Sorry, this is the Eight of Pentacles, that you're still working on money and finance. But the Queen of Pentacles is really about asking yourself, are you looking after yourself? Are you in a space where you are doing as much as you would do for other people, because you are the kind of person, or at least I suspect that this is a part of your energy or someone around you, that this person, whether it's male or female, is home-loving, somebody who's really resourceful, loyal, and nurturing, sensible, pretty matter-of-fact, that kind of thing. Somebody who supports their family financially. It doesn't have to be, as I said, it could be an energy around you, but it could even be a male. These energies are neutral. But it is somebody who's fairly security minded is how I would put it. So again, somebody who's really creative, security minded, just somebody who is pretty down to earth and, really likes to look out for everybody. But the Strength card is following that. So you're being asked to stand in your power. You're being asked to take charge back of your life. So in other words, take charge back of your thought as well, with the Strength card. So, it's not just about being strong in the moment, but it's also about taking some courage, getting some courage and some inner strength, and saying that you might need to be strong for someone else as well, with the Strength card. So, again, be strong for yourself, but also about setting the boundaries. You don't have to voice everything in your mind that hits you as it goes through, but it's okay to set some boundaries and stand up for yourself on the issues that are quite important to you. So, and again, don't think that if you have a conversation, you have to bring everything to the forefront at one go. Deal with each issue in smaller ways, in micro ways, so that there is hopefully some kind of resolve at the end of the conversation. Give somebody else that moment as well, that time to think about what it is you've said as well. They may not have an answer for you right at that moment. So again, Strength card is really just about, could be also representing a passionate affair, that kind of thing. But again, it is the card about having some stamina and persistence, and just be committed to the journey, because you were told not to give up here too in the other cards above. So this feels like it doesn't feel like it's a waste of your time and energy. It feels like it's a growing experience. It's something you need to go through to learn whatever your lessons are from this. And whether you end up with the person or not, they are impacting your finances, because it is still about you in the month of March, still being disciplined. You're still using your attention to detail. You're still committed, to your employment. There might be a little bit of new learning here as well, and especially too with the Page of Swords. If I saw the Page of Pentacles, that might be speaking more to that, but as far as the the Eight of Pentacles goes here, this is really just about you getting the job done. You're disciplined. You're concentrating on it, on your work life. You might be throwing yourself more into your work life because of the emotional situation, but you're broadening your knowledge there. You're doing a repetitive task. You might even be thinking about training for a new skill here. And in terms of, love, it's still a good sign of getting to work with that love and friendship and creating that security, peace, stability, and especially when it's followed by the Empress, which is all about abundance and, giving birth to new ideas and positive things going on there. So again, there's proficiency with this card. Perseverance is starting to pay off. You're widening your level of knowledge. You might be reaching some level of proficiency at what you're doing. But again, because it's followed by the abundance card, the Empress card, which represents abundance, I do feel that it's a positive, happy, time for you. So this is toward the middle of the month, which is really when I'm doing this reading. But that this is really letting you know that you've moved into that place now where you've got that, you're owning your own power. So you were told with the Strength card to own your own power in similar words here, and with the Empress, you actually are owning your own power there as well. So again, that's about finding harmony, abundance, and kind of dealing with some of the elusive, mysterious parts of yourself as well. And again, because you have the Karma and the Moon card and that kind of thing, I do feel that you are moving into parts of yourself that you're trying to integrate. So again, it's just about you being a little more instinctive with that card. It definitely speaks to the universe, the divine coming through there. And again, with the Star card, happier times ahead. You also have the Queen of Wands. The Queen of Wands could speak to another energy around you. Don't know if it's you or someone else, but again, it's somebody who is an authority in her own right, dealing more from the heart, or at least sort of motivated along that way. With the King, it would be a different type of leadership, but with the Queen of Wands, it's somebody who needs to express herself. It's about being charismatic and friendly and energetic. This could also be a part of your personality or someone else around you. It is somebody who can be a little bit of an anxiety type. It can be representative of a Leo, Aries, or Sagittarius. It can be somebody who's guarded. Somebody who knows what they want, basically, though, with this card. They know what they want, and they know where they're going. They do have a really good business mind. And somebody who is fiercely determined, basically, is what I'm getting at. Somebody who's pretty career oriented on the average. Doesn't have to be specific to all of those traits, but somebody who could, if they were, focusing along that line, have that aptitude. But it is somebody who has a lot of energy with a fire sign. So again, the card, just on a side note, is also letting you know, it asks you to be bold and courageous in your decisions. So then we move on to the Star card. And again, just as a quick reference, that Queen of Wands is also still somebody who is energy that could be around you, it could be you as well. And just to keep that in mind. So you can have a couple of energies coming through for yourself. But moving on to the Star card. The Star card is really a happiness card. It's about things being illuminated. It's also a time when, guidance is coming through from the divine. You definitely have a lot of things going on for you here. This is because of self-expression. Like you have a lot of outlets. This is another card of self-expression. And so whether you have a talent artistically or not, you should be following up with it. You start using that. It is that, again, inspirational card, but it is also about sometimes having too many ideas that you can't live up to as well. Just in a negative way, that would be something that could come through there. But it is a card full of hope and contentment and joy, and just to trust in your dreams, whatever those dreams are, financially or emotionally, just to trust in that process, because it is more of a fortunate time that's being indicated here. And again, last card is the Ten of Wands, and the Ten of Wands speaks to you overcoming this period of overwhelm and burdens, and you're actually starting a new cycle. Tens are about beginnings and endings, so it's a time of transition. So now, just to finish up with the last two cards, your advice cards, we've got Bridget and we've got the Heal Away Addictions. So as far as Heal Away Addictions, that's pretty self-explanatory there. It's telling you it's time to let go of behaviors that are blocking you from your heart's desire. Ask Archangel Raphael to help you with this healing. So, I think that one's pretty straightforward, but, as far as letting go of problematic behaviors or things that block you, allow your life purpose to come through, it's interfering with your health and your happiness, that kind of thing. It's wasting your time, could be robbing you of your own energy, your confidence, blocking answers that, the universe is trying to support you with. But either way, you're just not, you're not able to get the full healing when you allow negative thought patterns to influence you. So, again, just get rid of destructive, compulsive behaviors and toxic relationships, things that aren't healthy for you, that you crave, and look for anchor points. See what you're attached to and what your thinking is when you start down that negative track, and then go to a quiet place and say to yourself, what are the action steps I can take to, weigh out those plus and minuses in my life to let go of those problems. So again, that's just your advice card. And then we have the final card, which is Bridget, Don't Back Down. So again, that one's pretty straightforward as well. And that's about, taking action, speaking up for yourself. Be clear about your intentions here with this card. So I'll just pull that one forward here. But standing up for yourself and what you believe is right. And that is Bridget. And that one, again, is telling you just to be clear about what you want, because if you're confused, you're not going to get the answers that you seek, because you're not sure of what you want, and you'll accept whatever is or what's coming to you without question, or maybe with resistance, but you don't know how to change it. So, it's time to, think about the things that make you feel passionate about your day-to-day in March, whether it's relationships or finances, but think about your own truth. So don't worry about what others are thinking. Just trust your actions will work out, and speak your truth and stick to your opinions, and put your foot down if something is really violating you. It doesn't make you feel like you're moving in a positive direction. So again, that's the reading for Virgo 2020 March. Oh, I know that was an extended reading, and apologies. I had a little more time on my hand today with snow here where I am, and with the coronavirus out there. So I just thought I would take that extra as well, because I didn't get to the reading for Virgo in the earlier part of March, so I thought I would give you some additional cards. Anyway, have a great March, and we'll speak to you in April.